Hello there, my name is Jeff, and welcome to episode, what are we on? 67 of the Game Sharks
said
podcast.
It 5 seconds ago.
Where we talk about our favorite thing in the world, the Inner Gamer podcast. This past week, Andrew and I guested on the Inner Gamer, a long-standing podcast. They've been going for several years. Based out of Texas, Brett and Austin had us on to talk about the best side quest in video games. It was a blast. I had a real good time.
Yeah,
so
it was great.
Be sure to go check that out. I think their website is just theinnergamer.net.
They have a website?
Yeah. Hang on, I want to make sure I get this right. I should have looked it up beforehand. Yeah, theinnergamer.net. I was right. So go check out our episode of the Inner Gamer podcast there. And thank you, Brett and Austin, for having us on. And video games. Joining me this week is Adam.
Hello.
Derek.
Hello.
And Andrew.
Howdy.
Hello, gentlemen. Let's talk about some video games today. So we don't have any emails, which, life goes on. Eventually, Dan Santos will reconnect to internet and be able to talk to us.
We'll get our twice a year update.
An email from them regarding the last 6 weeks of the podcast.
Let's see. Our main topic for today, Andrew had a cool idea. So the next month of podcasts from us, our main topics are going to be the top 10 games from the 80s, 90s, noughties, and teens.
Sorry, hang on. Dial that back a sec. The naughties?
Yeah.
Never heard of that.
Naughties?
Yeah.
That's the first time I've ever heard that.
Really? Oh, that's what Adam Savage from the Mythbusters?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He calls them the naughties.
He said that's the technical term, because not zero.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, I just don't
Doesn't
like
mean
hearing it.
it's-
It doesn't
yeah.
sound right.
I hate that. Yeah.
Then you want me to say
mathematically, yes.
As long as you don't say 20 tweens.
no.
No.
The-
No, please no.
Just teens. All right. Do you want me to say the 2000s?
That's yes.
I mean, we get the point. You can
so,
call
yeah.
whatever you want.
The 4 decades of video games we're going to go through, and it's going to be an aggregate list. We're all going to make our personal lists. We're going to combine them together to get the definitive Game Sharks top 10 games. And today we are doing the 80s. We have lists from 5 of the 6 Game Sharks. Adam abstained because he hasn't played enough games from the 80s, which
Like maybe 3.
totally understandable.
enough.
So make a top 3.
Yeah.
Okay, Pac-Man. Tetris.
Stop ruining the list.
It's Adam's list.
Those are the 2.
Doesn't have any bearing.
Wasn't even real. Those are like the 2 games I can remember from the 80s.
Adam, I guarantee you there are more.
I know there are.
All right.
Anyway, continue, Jeff.
Let's start with news. We're going to get to that later on in the episode. With news, Andrew, tell me about World of Demons. You put this on the Google Doc.
I honestly almost forgot about it. I'm so sad. So, you guys know I love Okami. And so, earlier this week, Platinum Games just dropped a 1-minute long trailer for a game that basically looks like a crossover between the Demon Slayer anime and Okami. Like, it has the exact same art style as Okami, the same thematic aesthetic with like the kind of Oriental
painting.
Japanese mythos and the painting style. And you play as a dude with a sword. And it looked really fucking awesome. Get to the end of the trailer, coming to mobile.
Oh.
Yeah, it's an Apple Arcade
So-
exclusive, right?
Yeah, Apple Arcade.
So dumb.
So that means it'll be out
However-
in like a year.
No, I think it comes out. It's already out.
Oh, it's already out?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this game
Well,
is
I mean,
out.
like, it'll come out on regular things in about a year.
Yeah. However, since it came out, there have been some videos about the gameplay, and it's like one button. So it's a give or take situation.
Yeah. it's
Okay, I
unfortunate.
just found it on the App Store. Yeah, it does look a lot like Okami.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have really liked if this was like a more fleshed out experience and almost the spiritual successor to that style of game. Because I know that the creator of Okami wants to make Okami 3, but this would have been a nice palate cleanser. What's the word I'm looking for? Sampler? I don't know.
It's
I think we like.
I mean, it might have cleansed your palate. I don't
know, man.
just the trailer.
I mean, what if it
There's
was
like
bad?
there's like a particular term, but that's not the point. The point is, I'm sad, but also kind of not.
Yeah, it's a shame that all these like interesting concepts are coming to just Apple Arcade, including Fantasian, the Final Fantasy.
Oh
game.
yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well, there's nothing we can do about it except for wait for it to come to something else. Because I'm sure it will inevitably, at some point, we'll be able to play those games, not on an iPhone.
Hopefully.
Probably.
Okay, let's talk about James Bond, the guys who made Hitman singular, one man who hits. IO Interactive. They've definitively said that the James Bond video game is going to be an original story, and it's going to be drawing from James Bond's entire franchise history to make the game. So this is something we had talked about when they first announced the game. We weren't sure if it was going to be an adaptation of one of the more recent movies or an older movie, but IO said we are definitely making a brand new story in the James Bond universe, which is cool.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the way to go with games based off of movies sometimes. Because if you try to stick to a story that's already written to kind of, sticks you in a corner, really. Like, you can't really, like, you're stuck within the confines of the story. So, like, there might be something cool you wanted to, but there's no way to fit it into the structure of what that story was already doing. So,
And then
definitely-
it maybe artificially limits the amount of gameplay mechanics that you can implement.
Exactly. So it definitely makes a lot more sense to, okay, we'll just do our own thing. That way there's no limits to what we can put in because it's our rules.
Yeah, Jedi Fallen Order.
Exactly.
Yeah, so small bit of news, but really cool. I'm very much looking forward to this game, especially after how much everyone loved Hitman 3. I keep saying Hitman 3.
Pikmin? Hitman?
Derek, how's that review coming?
That's a good question. Maybe you should ask Mirror Universe me.
I hate you. Derek, you still play Apex regularly? I know you're probably the biggest Apex fan out of any of us here.
I usually play like at the beginning of each season for a little bit. I haven't played much lately though.
All right. Did you see that Season 9 is going to be featuring a ton of Titanfall content?
Yeah, right. That's what they're saying. So I might have to. I'm waiting for I want the PS5 version to come out.
Yeah. Have they given any updates on when that's going to happen?
I don't think so. I mean, the PS4 version runs just fine, but
Yeah.
like,
But
Yeah.
imagine the PS5 version.
yeah, imagine it. It probably looks the same as the PS4 version.
Probably.
So obviously, Apex and Titanfall made by the same developers, Respawn. Titanfall was like a darling game that not many people knew about. Titanfall 2, people said, is even better. One of the best first-person shooter campaigns of all time. So like, what do you think from Titanfall we're going to be getting in Apex, and to what level will it be like an interactable thing? Like, okay, the big question: will you be able to pilot a Titan?
I don't think you'll be able to pilot a Titan.
Okay.
I think what it's going to be is, well, so I did see some leaks of a possible new character that calls in a Titan, and
Ooh.
it like roams and it like protects them.
That seems like it
would
could be busted.
seems like it would be pretty busted. So I don't know how they would. The thing with the Titans is I don't know how they would balance, because I think unless they're introducing, so in Titanfall there's specific weapons that are Titan killers. Basically, they're for killing Titans. So unless they're introducing those into the game, which I wouldn't doubt they are, that would be how they would balance it. Like, okay, instead of running a sniper and an assault rifle, you might now run an assault rifle and a Titan, a Titan killing weapon. I don't remember I think one of them was like a rocket launch,
Yeah.
4 rocket launcher or something. Because in case you run into like a Titan or something. I mean, that's what people have been hoping for, is that they introduce like Titans in some way. I could see them maybe doing like a limited time mode where it's literally like Titanfall. And
That
the
could be
other thing
cool.
I could see them doing is just literally putting Titanfall multiplayer in Apex.
Because like,
And-
there's such a big player base for Apex, and I'm sure most of them
Yeah.
haven't played Titanfall, and I'm sure a good chunk of them don't even know what Titanfall is. So this
Right.
could be a good chance to get all of these Apex players interested in Titanfall, and then boom, release Titanfall 3, we get an
Right.
announcement later this year, and they're like, oh, Apex, but with giant mechs, I could play that. It's like this
Yeah,
could
why
be
not?
Right.
this could be genius.
That's what everyone's hope. That's what like the Titanfall community, like they're just hoping that this is the beginning of the marketing campaign for Titanfall 3 or something.
That would be awesome.
Because yeah, that would be. I really I liked Titanfall. Like I played it really late in the end of its career, so it was like servers weren't super populated, but I was able to actually like play the whole campaign that there was. But Titanfall 2 was really good. I didn't do too much multiplayer in Titanfall 2 just because I was playing on PC and I just was not as good as other people with like the movement mechanics, and it's a super movement heavy game, which that's what a lot of people miss. Is like it was very different than like COD. It was very different than Call of Duty. It was something different, and that's what people, I think, the fans want. They want something different. So
Yeah.
With if Titanfall 3 to release this year, it could destroy Call of Duty.
You think so?
Already Call of Duty is on like thin ice with like there's a bunch of terrible shit going on in Warzone. People hate Cold War, and apparently there's been a lot of like leaks around the new Call of Duty, and apparently it's just like a mess. Like it's just as bad. Like things are going just as bad as if not worse than Cold War's development. And so like if Titanfall 3 were to come out this fall and this shitty poopy Call of Duty were to come out, it would destroy the franchise. Like it might force Activision to like skip a year.
That would be crazy.
Which would be insane.
They haven't skipped a year since COD 4, right? The original Modern Warfare.
Yeah, or it's either COD 4 or World at War. I can't remember when World at War came out, but that was after World at War. Every single one was yearly.
It might have been 2 years between original Modern Warfare and World at War. Yeah, this is cool. I'm excited to see what they end up doing. I haven't played since they put... Who's the dude... God, I don't even know his name. He's got like the white coat with the green on it.
Oh,
what's his name?
Not Cyber. Crypto.
Yeah, he was the last person who came out. So I don't know. I know of Loba. Is that her name?
Yeah.
I don't know who this dude with the mustache is. I have no clue. I've never seen him before. Anyways, if you end up getting back into Titanfall, let me know because I might pick it back up because Titanfall was my favorite of all the battle royales.
You mean Apex?
Did I say Titanfall? Yeah, Apex is my favorite of all the battle royales. I felt like it played the smoothest, and I liked what it was doing.
Yeah.
More so than any of the other games, and I liked
it.
Like,
It wasn't super gimmicky.
Yeah, no, it was like super streamlined and had a lot of great ideas.
Yeah, the character abilities felt more natural. Nothing game breaking.
Yeah. So, if you end up getting back into it when this all happens, definitely let me know. I'll play on any platform because it's free.
Also, this is a pretty wild fact, but and it's a pretty interesting fact. Call of Duty has been a yearly franchise since inception.
No shit.
Yeah,
Wow.
if you count the expansion pack to the first Call of Duty, there has been a new Call of Duty every single year since 2003.
Damn.
Wow.
Stop. Take a break, guys. You clearly need it.
I mean,
It's almost been 20 years.
well, they have 3 studios now.
That's
Yeah.
true. They cycled through them.
I just read that Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War has been the best-selling game in the U.S. every month since its launch.
Yeah, as usual.
So they have no reason to stop.
Yeah.
I guess not. Why would you at that point?
Let's keep talking about. It relates to something I want to say later, but let's move on to the story about MLB The Show. I don't think any of us here are baseball fans in any fashion.
Not particularly.
But MLB The Show, the baseball game. It's like the only baseball game out there. Traditionally a PlayStation exclusive.
backyard baseball.
The only current yearly baseball game. Traditionally PlayStation exclusives. We knew recently that it was coming to Xbox for the first time. That was a pretty big deal. MLB themselves, I think, are publishing it on Xbox. However, we just got some really insane news that it's coming to Game Pass on launch day.
That's pretty
So
nuts.
this
Yeah,
Sony, formerly Sony exclusive game, developed by Sony with the fucking Sony logo on the box, and when you boot up the game, is coming to Game Pass day and date. Dude, it's like Xbox is fucking sprinting ahead of Sony at this point. I feel like they've had no responses lately to like all this awesome stuff Sony's doing.
Ah, man, just wait till that Resident Evil game comes out.
But isn't that
Is it?
multi-platform?
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think it is. I don't think that's
Yeah, it's
PlayStation.
The point
platform.
is,
The point
Sony
is
is
you're gonna play it
it-
on your PlayStation.
Yeah, Sony is singularly relying on its exclusives.
I feel like they've got something up their sleeve.
You think so?
I don't know.
Well,
I don't think we'll see it for till next year, though.
we definitely won't see it in, I don't know, the second week of June, for example.
Yeah, we definitely won't see it then.
Yeah.
Did-
I'm trying to see what platforms
did
is
you-
gonna keep going.
Did you watch the trailer, like the Xbox trailer for MLB
For
the show?
MLB?
Mm-mm.
No.
It's pretty great. It like boots up. It's the Xbox logo,
And then the
immediately
PlayStation
after,
Studios?
It's the
Yeah.
PlayStation Studios logo.
That's so
it's like the
weird.
most shocking thing.
Yeah,
That's
it's coming to Xbox.
Hysterical.
Resident Evil is also coming to Xbox and Stadia.
Ha!
Google Stadia.
There's our unopened Google Stadia. Yeah. So
shall remain.
like Microsoft's doing shit. Xbox is getting insane and awesome, and it just feels like every week we're talking about a new cool thing that Xbox is doing. And when was the last time we talked about something cool that PlayStation was doing? When the PS5 released? Is that the last interesting
Yeah.
thing they did was release the
Fair.
console?
They
Yeah,
announced
fair enough.
PSVR 2.
I guess.
It's true. Yeah.
Is
They
that
technically did do that.
I think MLB The Show coming to Game Pass is a more interesting thing than PSVR 2.
And I think that's the one. Like, I think the one thing Microsoft is doing right now is they're dominating the news cycle. Every week there's some kind of news of this is coming to Game Pass day one, or there's some rumor that something is coming to Game Pass, or like
Or they're
how many
talking
months
about buying Discord.
right, yeah, like they're kind of dominating the news cycle when there's just all but silence from Sony and Nintendo. So they're definitely doing it. We'll have to see how that affects this like console generation. Like, is Microsoft gonna get a kind of like leap ahead early on because of all this, or is the shortage of consoles really just preventing anybody from really getting what they want? You know, I don't like.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, all Series X's and PS5s are selling out the second they're available. I think you can get
Right.
your hands on a Series S at this point. But so like we won't know metrics for a while because they're all selling. Both of them are selling all of the things they make.
Right.
So I'm curious to see which one we'll see on store shelves first. Like which one will there be finally
Less of a demand for.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is I don't think either.
For a while.
Yeah. I'm really interested for like our 1 year in conversation, because 1 year in, I'm like, I think, or not 1 year, 4 months in, I think I'm pretty even on the amount of time I spent with my Xbox and with my PlayStation.
I think I'm even solely because it's like I'm even not because I'm choosing to split my time that way. I'm even because the games that I like, there are games I can only play on the PlayStation, and
Right,
then everything else I'm playing on my Xbox by choice. So, are we allowed to make updates to our bold predictions from earlier? Because I have a new
No.
bold prediction.
I mean,
I
mean, you
give a
can-
new bold prediction.
You can, I mean, I guess we'd have to change the whole bingo thing, though.
It doesn't have to go on the bingo card. I just want. Can you just add it to my list of bold predictions?
Okay, I'm curious.
I don't think I'm keeping track of them outside of the bingo card.
Oh man. Anyways, my new bold prediction: this year's Call of Duty will be on Game Pass.
Day one.
Day one, day and date.
So
Okay.
the rumors
Okay.
are that Battlefield 6 is going to be day and date on Game Pass.
Interesting. The other thing I could
Yeah,
see
Why
is
not
like
both?
a Titanfall 3.
Yeah.
And like
yeah.
if you get the most famous first-person shooter of all time, plus all of these sports games, there is like, I don't know, a tenth of Xbox or like video game console owners just play those things. They play
Mhm.
FIFA, they play the show, they play Madden, and they play Call of Duty, and that's it.
Yeah,
So if you
fair.
could buy one box and pay a subscription like a Netflix to get all of those every year, you just get the new one, dude.
Home run.
That's I mean, they're already there with all the
Topical.
sports games.
Can you
That was on
get
purpose.
the EA Play on PlayStation?
I don't think
Because
so.
that's what EA's like subscription service is, and it's just happens to be bundled in with Game Pass.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you can get it on PlayStation.
Oh.
So it's not like
but
but
do you have to pay for
the
it separately?
difference. Yeah, it's right. It's its own thing. You pay through EA, I believe. You can't. It's not like bundled with PSN or anything like that. But the big difference is most of the time, unless you have like the ultimate version, or not even. I think most of the time, the games don't come until like after release. Whereas Game Pass, it seems that they're lining up that they're going to be these day one things, which is
It's
pretty
becoming
huge.
like a new marketability aspect. Like, oh, this will be on Game Pass the day it comes out.
Yeah.
It's like
Man.
a new thing you can add to the list of things you're
Yeah.
gonna be able to do in the game.
It feels so good to be an Xbox fan in 2021. It feels so good.
Meanwhile, Sony.
Meanwhile, Sony, it's like, all right. I guess that leads us into our next news. The next big Sony exclusive that we were all excited about got delayed. It's getting
Okay.
pushed from. It's supposed to be this month, or no? It was going to be May.
May,
So
yeah.
it's going from May to September. Deathloop. I didn't say the name of the game. Deathloop got pushed
Yeah, I was
to
about to say.
September.
I mean, it's one of
Which this is a little weird to me, considering the last two times we've seen this game, they've showed us almost the same exact stuff. So I imagine it's got to be like small bug things and like being like, oh, there's this weird interaction where if you do this during the loop and like kill this guy while this other person's staring at you, like I'm sure because it's like a one big world and like things are running on a schedule that you can interrupt, that there are probably some like really weird bugs and just like an infinite amount of scenarios that you can come up with that they're still sorting through. That'd be my guess as to why it got delayed.
yeah.
What
I
is it?
could see that. Like,
4 months?
coming from the little I know about coding. Yeah, the more moving bits you have, the more opportunities you do have for something like that, exactly that to happen. Just like, who would have known if you do these exact things in this specific order, at this specific timing, that the entire thing breaks, you know?
Yeah.
Which is like, it's like the sad part about like the more complicated we make games, yeah, the better they are, but then the longer they take to make because of this exact thing.
They do have an official statement. I'll just read that real quick. We've made the decision to delay the launch of Deathloop to September 14th, 2021. We're committed to quality and preserving our team's ambitions for Deathloop while ensuring the health and safety of everyone at Arcane. We'll be using this extra time to accomplish our goal, create a fun, stylish, and mind-bending player experience. We apologize for the extended wait and thank you all for your passion and excitement. It is the fuel that powers our creativity and our hard work. We can't wait to show you more Deathloop soon. They didn't really say anything here. They're just basically like, we don't want to overwork our people, which, again, we don't have to keep saying this, but yes, make that a thing. Don't overwork your people. I'm not upset that Deathloop got delayed.
If anything, I'm relieved.
Yeah, right. It frees
Frees up May
a little bit more that time.
Yeah, very true.
So yeah, I imagine this is just polish, making it all work nicely. Do you think it's going to get delayed again out of this
No.
year? No, you think this is it? Because
I mean,
it's been
they
delayed
gave
like
until
3
September.
times, right?
yeah, I feel like if you want to count, I don't know. It feels like if the first delay was like a legit delay, and the rest of these delays are just kind of COVID delays, like we're not getting work done as fast as we thought we could with like remote work, like that's kind of how it is. Like I don't think every delay we see this year is going to be like the worrying like, ooh, why are they delaying it another 6 months? Like what's going wrong? I think it's just more of a like, yeah, logistically, like things aren't, the marketing team thought that, or the, not the upper management thought, hey, with, things seem to be going well, maybe we can fit this date. And now they're going, yeah, no, we're not gonna be able to fit that date. Like remote working is still slowing us down. I mean, I feel like the one, especially in a video game environment, the one downside of remote working is if you're a QA tester and you encounter a bug, you can't walk over to the dev and say, hey, come check this out. You have to, there's probably, record your gameplay. Like, it's a lot easier when you can just walk over to the guy that built this thing and say, hey, let me show you this bug I just found, and I can recreate it for you on the spot, instead of, I'm sure it's very complicated, especially when I think QA testers sometimes are, at least in the video game industry, are on a contract basis. So
that makes sense.
When they're not in there, when they're not coming into the office to do this stuff, it definitely makes it more complicated.
Yeah, that absolutely makes sense. So yeah, we won't be getting Deathloop for another 4 months, but that's okay. Leaves room for us to play Resident Evil and what was the other game?
Mass Effect.
Mass Effect Collection
Mass
comes
Effect.
out. And then, Final Fantasy VII Integrate comes out in June.
Yeah.
Very true.
There goes a month of my life. Biomutant, that's right. I'm waiting to hear what you guys think.
I don't think that'll I think
Adam's the guinea pig.
You think it'll get delayed, Derek?
Yeah, oh yeah.
No, we'll see.
I have
I'll be
Deathloop.
playing it.
Great.
I have
Even more
Deathloop on
time.
my fantasy critic team, so I'm hoping it doesn't get delayed anymore. Also, Andrew, you still haven't gotten any
Speaking
points
of
for...
Fantasy Critic, I have a public complaint that nobody has reviewed The Binding of Isaac Repentance yet.
Yeah, I don't know what to do about that.
Me
Yeah.
neither.
I was wondering, one of the things I was thinking was like, does that count as a new release? Technically, it's an expansion, right?
It's in the thing.
I know it's in the thing, but there's like a
Yeah,
lot of
'cause
things
there's-
in the thing.
Yeah, but if you click on them, it'll
Um,
say like, "Oh, this isn't eligible."
Yeah, I think you might have picked a game that's a little too small to get like big reviews.
Yeah, like I didn't see anything.
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to
pop
be
up
big
for it.
reviews. It's just there's no reviews on OpenCritic at all.
Alright. So
Yeah.
if you write a review, Andrew, give it a
100.
10, and then post it to OpenCritic.
Cheating the system.
There are no
That's for audience reviews. This has to be
critic reviews. Yeah, I don't see. I don't know.
I don't know
I
how
don't
you
know-
get certified as a
I don't
critic.
know how to be a critic on OpenCritic. I'll send them the 3 reviews I've written.
Yeah, right. I feel like that's enough. You've written 3 reviews.
I have several reviews on the GG app. Every game I play this year, I write a small review on that app.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to figure out what we want to do with this. Also, I might be able to override it to remove it for free or something. There might be a way for me to do that.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
And if possible, as a replacement,
Give you a replacement for free.
since I auction, I didn't buy that game. I drafted it.
Yeah. We'll figure something out. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
All right. Any fans of Tetris 99 out there?
Haven't tried it yet.
How about Pac-Man 99? Surprise, why not? Yeah, so Nintendo announced yesterday, 2 days ago, a super surprise announcement. We're getting Pac-Man 99. I think it comes free with the Nintendo Switch Online.
We've gotten it is out.
Oh, is it out?
Yeah, it
yeah,
already
it
came out.
came out same day or no today.
Goes
really?
live. It went live yesterday.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. This is kind of cool.
It's great.
Yeah, are you guys gonna give it a shot?
I might try it.
No.
I'll give it a try.
No.
Yeah, it's
I mean, I have to bring my Switch home and then download it and then
Mm.
like actually physically play it, which I probably won't do if I have to go through all the hassle.
Yeah. I mean, I've
Fair.
never personally been the biggest Pac-Man fan, so I probably won't end up picking this up. But like, there are plenty of people who love Pac-Man.
Yeah, it's a novel idea. I mean, it makes me think what other games can get the 99 treatment.
Yeah, I was thinking that
WarioWare.
too. Legend of
Yeah.
Zelda, like a dungeon.
Yeah,
thing.
the original Zelda.
I think
it could work.
Zelda
It could work the
35
exact
is
same
probably-
way,
Yeah, I bet
where
that will be.
as you defeat enemies, you send enemies to other people's screens. You know,
yeah,
it's like you could even set it so that you're in like a select dungeon or something.
Yeah,
Or maybe it's
Centipede.
just first person to beat Zelda fucking wins. You know.
All,
so yeah,
all 9 dungeons.
It's cool to see that this is like a format that Nintendo's sticking with, and that we might see more games in the 99 series.
Maybe the original Donkey Kong.
Pokemon Puzzle League 99.
There you go.
I would
Paddle
fucking
Pond.
love it.
I would. That's the one that I would play all the time. My brother plays Tetris 99 all the time. Pokemon or Tetris Attack 99, I would play all of the time. That would fucking be my jam. Whoo. So yeah, Pac-Man 99 is out. If you're a fan of Pac-Man, definitely go check that out. All right, lastly, we got some news about E3. It's actually happening this year. There's going to be an all-digital E3. Apparently, there were talks about potentially selling digital tickets to be able to view it. That's not a thing. Don't worry, it's all free to view.
That got shot down pretty quickly by them, I think.
Yeah. So here's a whole list of a bunch of companies that are on board and going to be doing stuff for E3. We got Nintendo, Xbox, Capcom, Konami, Ubisoft, Take-Two, Warner Bros, and Coke. I think it's pronounced Coke. Koch. Coke Media.
I believe it's Cock.
Cock Media.
I'm pretty sure it's Cock.
Are you making a joke right now?
No, I'm pretty sure it's Cock.
Title of your sex tape.
I'm gonna clip that and do something. I'm pretty sure it's Cock.
GIF it immediately.
So companies that are absent as of now. Sony, we know Sony hasn't been doing anything with E3 for a while. Not expecting anything from them. EA, Activision Blizzard, Sega, Bandai Namco, Square Enix. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these people end up joining in at some point. But at the same time, last year not having E3 proved that you don't need it to make announcements. You can kind of do it on your own time.
They can just do their own thing at the same time.
So as a whole, I'm pretty excited about this. Derek, you share the same sentiment as I do. Is like E3 was like a fucking second Christmas for me as a kid.
Yeah.
Like those couple of days where they were doing all of the announcements was so huge, and like it's always a big part of my life, and it's so fun to just like boom 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 and like get all these announcements of really cool things. So it's exciting to see it come back in some fashion. I think Jeff Keighley's still doing his Summer of Games thing. So there's going to be like a couple, and I think his is a week or two after. This is going to be between June 12th and 15th for E3. It'll be cool for us as a podcast to talk about E3 and cover what's going on, because we didn't get that option last year, which bummed me out a bit. But
it'll be exciting to do a post the Thursday of E3 episode.
Yeah. Like
we didn't get to do that.
I'm sure that'll be the whole episode. We won't talk about what we've been playing or have a topic. It'll just be talking about everything that happened in E3. That'll be super fun.
And so we're going to do it again where we have our prediction episode first and then see how close we got.
Yeah, I love prediction episodes.
So definitely we're doing that at some point. When's E3, June?
This year's going to be really weird, though, because there's a number of notable, the industry giants that are absent.
Yeah.
So we have a category for what non-E3 announcement did Sony give? Like, coincidentally at the same time, but not technically.
And that's the thing,
PSVR2 again.
Most of these companies that aren't going to be directly affiliated with E3 will do something either through Jeff Keighley's Summer of Games or just making their own announcement. Like, I feel like if you have something to announce, it's dumb not to be a part of all this crazy commotion, because like everything gets extra hyped just from being announced during this time frame. At least that's how it always felt. So yeah, we don't know a ton about what's happening, but basically there will be some form of E3. A bunch of companies are already on board. So, and then next year they are going to have an E3 in person, they said, which
sweet.
It's interesting because we were predicting maybe last year was just, that's it. E3's done. We'll never see E3 again. But they decided to come back this year with an all digital event. And then, next year they're planning on going back to full in person.
Seeing Nintendo and Xbox on board for this digital event makes me think that they did their homework over the past year and said, "Hey, we want you back at our event. We want to I'm sure Nintendo will have the Direct or whatever that's separate from it, but they'll probably still do their Treehouse at E3 whatever the fuck it is, and either demo some more select titles, whatever. I'm sure we'll see some like Skyward Sword gameplay, whatever.
I mean, they announced stuff during the Treehouse too.
Yeah,
Right,
like
right.
the Metroid 2 remake got announced during the Treehouse.
During the
So-
Treehouse. So I'm glad to see those names. If it was just like Ubisoft and like Warner Brother, I'd be a little worried.
Yeah,
Because it's like just these third-party publishers involved. But the fact
but
that they
you got two of the big three. So
right.
and Xbox is hungry to announce big things for sure.
Mhm.
We're gonna see
definitely.
we're gonna see big things
Yeah.
from Xbox at E3, and I would be surprised if we didn't get Nintendo's like E3 Direct on the Tuesday morning like they usually do.
Yeah.
Or it's usually afternoon for us. It's 9 a.m. California
Pacific.
time, so it's noon
Yeah.
for us.
I
It'll be there. I'm convinced. Why would they put their name on this if they're not going to show it as part of their presentation?
right. I guess
Xbox is going to be huge too.
Yeah.
Because they have Bethesda now.
Oh yeah. Right. Normally Bethesda has their own like conference.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Also, Konami is on this list.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are they doing? It's got to be something interesting.
This is going to be a fun year. I'm now very much looking forward to our prediction episode.
Yeah, I think it'll be really good.
Oh boy.
All right, that is all we have for news.
Wait,
What about
you
Derek's
skipped
Kojima thing?
my
Oh,
Kojima
that's because you
thing.
didn't have a link there. Yeah, I was wondering who put that there. What?
There's what?
Oh, yeah, no,
It
there's no
must
link
not
there.
It must not have saved when I linked it. Well,
All right, tell me about
basically-
Kojima.
so this trailer came out for this game for PS5 called Abandoned the other day.
Yep, I saw this.
It's like a first-person horror game, and the rumor mill started turning, and people were
As it does.
speculating that this was Kojima's next game, and that like the studio and everything were like false flags, because no one could find any information about the president of the company and the company, like the game developer itself. The guy who developed the game or was like the head developer or whatever had the same initials as Hideo Kojima. So people were going wild. And then like the company, it's like BB, it was like BB Games or something. So people are thinking, oh, BB, the BBs from Death Stranding.
Mhm.
So they came out and like made a statement and said, no, we have nothing to do. And then there was an article that came out that I saw that I meant to link, but it basically was like, yeah, confirming like, no, this is just an unaffiliated game. But apparently Kojima is in talks with Xbox for a exclusive game. And they're currently happening as we speak, kind of thing.
Wow.
Like the
Interesting.
latest update from, I think it was Jeff Grubb, who wrote the article or whatever. His latest update was that like the lawyers were physically meeting to sign the deal and everything. So
Jesus.
yeah. So there's been a lot of rumors lately around Kojima because like he said that there's something in the works. And it sounds like, I think he already technically has something planned with PlayStation, and it sounds like he's now planning something with Xbox as well. So I don't know. We'll probably get more
That'd be
news
cool.
at E3, at least for one of them.
Oh, I'm sure. Hot off the presses, Final Fantasy VII Advent Children complete 4K remastered. Let's go. 26 new minutes of additional footage coming out June 8th, just in time for Intergrade. You want to get together and watch this when it comes out?
Yes.
And I'll explain
Yeah.
everything that's happening and why it's so dumb and insane.
Yes.
Sweet.
But also necessary.
So necessary.
Could you imagine if the 26 minutes of new footage are like modernly relevant?
Right? To like remake.
Yo.
They would do something dumb like that.
That would be crazy.
Oh, we have to watch this. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about what we've been playing lately. Anyone playing anything new or interesting that they want to talk about? Andrew, go for it.
I did the thing I said I was going to do, and I am almost done replaying Resident Evil 7.
Nice.
What do you think about it this time around?
Well, I didn't dislike it the first time, and I still don't
That's right.
dislike it. It's really good. I just fooled myself. And so I've talked about this trend before on the show, but with like it's the kind of the same thing that happened to me with Dark Souls, where like this time I just went back in and like not even like effortlessly like breezed through, you know, like
Mhm,
it was
mhm.
like I just understood everything. I knew exactly where to go. But it's like I feel like sometimes with certain games like Dark Souls, like Resident Evil 7, the first time I played it, I was approaching it with almost too much care, and I was trying to be as thorough as possible, but in a way, like clouding myself from actually like seeing what was in front of me. Like I was trying to be too careful,
Mhm.
and like search every corner and everything. And for whatever reason, the like way to progress was just lost on me. But this time I'm just like breezing right through. You know, it's like second nature. I'm almost done at this point. I'm on the boat. Um, but
What do
it's
you think of the boat part so far?
I don't think it needed to exist. I don't think it
It's
needed.
definitely the weakest section of the
Yeah,
game.
it's like from what I remember looking it up along like months and months ago. I remember it being shorter than it is, but
Yeah,
it's pretty long.
it's
I just I just played through like a half-hour long flashback, and that was pretty weird.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I just like I feel like the game should have ended by now.
Hmm.
Uh, but
So are you playing as what's her face right now?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, still. I think I'm almost done because I just did her flashback.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
So
yeah, that's right. You have to do the whole flashback first,
yes,
and then yeah. That part's a little definitely the weakest part of the game.
yeah, but it definitely succeeds in being a horror game. Like
Mhm.
it does a lot of like horror tropes, but it's well done because it's in first person. Um, like nothing is like scared me. I've gotten jump scared maybe once or twice. Um, by like those like clouds of bugs that fly at you sometimes. Um, but it's a great time.
Yeah.
It feels like a Resident Evil game. Uh, it's just a little different. Ethan sucks. Um,
Ethan does suck. I still don't understand how he got his hand chopped off, and then they just kind of sewed it back on.
It's part of the game, Jeff.
Do they explain, or is it just like I have
Yeah.
to suspend my disbelief?
No, they explain how all that shit works.
Okay, I don't remember.
Kinda.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a
kinda
lot.
is the
There's a lot
best.
of like. There's a lot of instances in this game where you have to learn by reading and by searching around and finding little notes. You
Mhm.
know, kind of like in Resident Evil 4, how there will be little like plot nuggets hidden around after save points. There's like a
Yeah,
journal
the little
from the
notes.
enemy. Um, but in this, it's literally like the solution to puzzles is on a piece of paper somewhere. You know, like there's a piece of paper next to a thing, and it says like do this. It's not as direct as that. It's usually a little more cryptic, but you know, it's pretty standard game design, so you get
Maybe
the
do
idea.
this.
Well, like
Might work out for you.
Maybe
there's
try
one
it.
puzzle where there's a clock on the table, and the piece of paper just says the same as all the other clocks. And I was like, I haven't looked at a single clock in this game. Uh, and so then I'm like, I have to
Whoops.
go find a clock. So it's just like, and then as soon as you see one, it's like, okay, well that's the answer. Um,
Did
but
you do the videotape before the like torture room?
yeah,
Okay. I apparently it's easy to like miss that and you just get like stuck. But I thought that was kind of cool.
yeah,
I thought that was a
yeah.
cool.
It's definitely the videotapes are cool too because they allow you to like learn while also
Without like there being a real consequence, kind of.
yeah, it's like it's showing you the solution ahead of time, but also like like covering some plot stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so it's just a cool game.
Nice. Anything else?
Oh god, yeah. I've been playing a lot of Binding of Isaac.
Enjoying that.
Yeah. I started a new file, so it's a little slow going at first because I don't have a lot unlocked. But I play a couple runs every day. Best roguelike ever made.
Anyways, uh, You playing anything else besides those two things?
Nope.
Okay. Adam, what about you?
I've had a pretty boring week. Nothing
Yep.
new on my end. Just the same old, same old.
All right. I've done a couple interesting things this past week.
Ooh.
I've beaten Bravely Default 2.
Ooh.
Nice.
I rolled credits on it 3 times.
Oh boy.
3.
So, okay. It does something weird at the end of the game, and I don't know how I quite feel about it. I think I'm leaning towards not liking what it did. So, I knew there were 7 chapters in the game.
Yeah.
And I got to
7.
the end of
Oh,
chapter
no.
5, and credits rolled, and like you beat what is presumably the big bad monster, and credits roll. I'm like, oh, cool. And then like it plays a cutscene, and it's like it's weird and abrupt, and that's the end of it. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. And like then you do the thing where like you save the game after the credits roll, and you can go back in. And so you do that, and you go back in, and it starts chapter 6. And then you like see what happened when you beat it at the end of chapter 5. So you know how Elvis's book is like telling you like memories and stuff?
Yeah.
It can also tell you the future at some points. So they see what happened, and it's basically like a bad ending. And they're like, oh, we have to not do that. So then they do something else and go fight the big bad in a different way. And then something like it's another not good end. It's like another bad ending. And then you do the same thing. You make a save file after the credits roll. Then you go back a third time, and they're aware of what happened, and they're like, oh, we can't have that happen. And then they go and beat it a third time, and then it's like the good ending. It was weird.
That's interesting and kind of cool.
But
I feel like
there's nothing that prompts you to say like, hey, go back in, this isn't over. So I'm sure there are people out there who get to the end of chapter 5, roll the credits, see that ending, be like, well, that fucking sucked. And then they're done with it because they don't know that there's more.
that's kind of a cool. I don't know. Like from the I feel like forever we've had the good bad neutral ending in video games, and the fact that the good ending or the bad ending isn't a choice in the game, but the fact that maybe you just stopped playing it is kind of like a interesting out there idea. Like you chose to keep playing, and so eventually you got like that good ending. Like
yeah, it's kind of
seems
like Symphony of the Night and what happened to Adam.
yeah, right. Like Adam, you beat it, and you were like, oh, I guess
Okay, it's over.
that's the game.
Yeah.
See,
then,
I
like-
think the difference with something like that is that Metroidvanias are all about the exploration, and in some of them largely the boss fights, and even the more minor fights throughout the game. So fighting Richter and then having the game end, I feel, is a more natural progression of that arc. And then when you find out there's more, you're like, oh, that's really cool. But a JRPG is its story in a lot of ways. So like you said, Jeff, playing through a big JRPG and then getting a bad ending and
there's
not
like you
knowing
have
that there's
to do
more,
that. Yeah, like there's no option
that
to have the good ending.
I think that would feel way worse than the Symphony of the Night example.
But does the ending make sense in the context of the game?
So like you beat the bad guy, but it feels super abrupt and weird. I don't want to spoil it, obviously,
Right.
but
Okay.
it just like feels out of place. You're like, oh, that came out of nowhere, and it's
there
over.
weren't hints that could be the consequence, kind of thing.
Yeah, no, nothing.
Okay. Because I feel like if you
same
did
thing
right,
with the second time, it's just
Yeah.
it's like you fight the bad guy, and it's like, oh no, this thing went wrong. Here's the credits. So you have to watch the credits 3 times.
Yeah, I think that's fine if the credits don't roll.
It was It's like I feel like they didn't need to fake you out. Like just get rid of the credits and like just make that. Like, don't pretend that the game is over. Just like have, like show like, oh no, like we can't have that, and like make it part of the story.
Yeah,
we can't have this thing happen. We have to change how it
make it so that you can do any of the three like choices like naturally, and so that you can get the good ending on your first try if you do the correct actions. That's why good bad endings are such a compelling narrative device in games, is that it's based on the player actions, something you can only do in video games. The ludo narrative is super important in a lot of games. So if you're removing the choice from that and just forcing you to experience it in that set order.
All right, let me set the stage for you.
Okay.
Let me set the stage for you. It's 1999.
Uh-huh.
You just played Bravely Default on your Nintendo 64.
Okay.
Bravely Default 2.
Okay.
And you just finished the game. The game ends. You're like, okay, that wasn't really a great ending. Whatever. You go on. You put in Super Smash Brothers and you're playing. Whatever. Your friend comes over next week, and he's talking to you, and he's like, "Oh, did you finally beat Bravely Default?" And he's like, and you're like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, did you get to the next ending?" And you're like, "What?" I feel like that's like what this is trying to hone in on, is the like, wait, there's more to this.
I think it could work. I just think maybe they didn't execute it well.
It sounds like they didn't execute it perfectly, but I really like that concept. I like the concept of thinking you've beaten a game and going onto the internet forums, whatever, and seeing there was more, and that it wasn't locked behind a choice you made in the game. Like, I can still get the good ending, but I have to go back and play the game more instead of I have to play the game over again. You see, that's kind of like where I'm coming from with this.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from.
Like, I think that was a kind of a cool concept. I'm interesting to get to it. I'm glad I know about it now, I guess.
If in 3 years you beat this game and want to talk about it, I would love to talk to you more in depth about it.
I've been moving forward.
So I feel like I really enjoyed the game. I want to start working on my review. I hope to have it done by next week.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a lot for me to do still. There's a job that I still needed to get, and there's a lot of, once you get to chapter 7, you can refight all the previous bosses and unlock 3 more levels for each job. So I could have gone through and done all of that. I tried one of them, and it was 4 of the bosses earlier in the game that you usually fight just one of them at a time. I had to fight 4 of them at once, and they were stronger, and I died. And I was like, oh. And I could have maxed out more jobs and whatnot. And I would have loved to have done all of that. However, I have too much else I want to do, so I can't commit myself to doing all this extra stuff. But if I was playing this game in 1999 on my N64, I would absolutely go back and do all this stuff, and it would be awesome. But I feel like I don't have the time to commit to doing all of that. But yeah.
I think it would work, but kind of retreading on my point, I think it would work way better if it was like, oh, did you find this secret area, instead of, did you finish the story?
Yeah.
True.
It's like the only thing that tells you is if you hover over the save file you make. It's like, oh, go talk to this person.
Yeah,
exactly. Okay. Weird. Yeah, it was a weird choice. It felt abrupt. And I think that's why I don't feel so great about it, because it felt really random and not streamlined and well done. I don't know. But as a whole, I really enjoyed Bravely Default 2. I thought it was a really fun JRPG with some the best job system in any JRPG ever. So the other game that I played this past week for the first time, Derek, T-Con, and I all played Outriders.
Oh yeah, how was it?
Oh yeah.
I had a lot of fun. We only played for a couple hours. It turns out you had to get to the tutorial, which is like 40 minutes before you can play together. So I did that, and then we ended up hopping in a match with the 3 of us and playing through a couple of the missions. And yeah, I was having, once I shut off my brain and was just playing, playing the game is really fun. The story is real dumb and irrelevant, and I was watching the cutscenes, and then T-Con, who started the tutorial like 15 minutes after me, caught up because he was just skipping all the cutscenes, and Derek's like, just skip all the cutscenes. No one gives a shit about any of this. So then I was like, okay, I guess. So I started skipping all the cutscenes, and like once we just started a mission and got into it, and like watching Derek set up turrets because he's playing the Technomancer, and watching T-Con light shit on fire because he's the pyromancer was really cool. And then I'm playing the trickster, and I would teleport in behind people and then use this like sphere that like puts everything around me in slow motion, and then like I have this like AoE slice move, and I was having a fucking blast playing as the trickster. That's some of the most fun I've had first person shooting in a long time. And it just feels like a really satisfying loop of do mission with friends, kill guys, fight boss, pick up loot, get a little bit stronger, go on and do it again.
Yeah. I feel like this game captures what it's trying to do extremely, extremely well from like a gameplay standpoint. Yeah, I don't know. The story is dumb. Like, I don't know if it's dumb. I'm not really paying attention to it. I don't know if it's good or bad.
I've heard
just
from
in the
anyone that is
background.
paying attention to it says it's like not good and it's really pointless and dumb.
Right, but that's not why I'm playing this game. I'm not playing this game for a story-driven shooter. I'm just playing this game to literally just kill things with fire and or flame. You know, it was cool going from the single player experience where it's just myself, like I'm reliant on only my abilities and what I can do, to playing with the three of you guys to see, like, you know, I'm placing my turrets down, and like you're saying, like a wave of flames comes by from T-Con, and then like I see you teleport behind these people, and like it's a very cool experience.
Yeah, it's really fun. There's a skill tree that I'm looking forward to like unlocking and moving down. Every time you pick up a new gun and you're just like, oh cool, how does this fit in? And like there's mods for the guns and stuff, which we haven't quite gotten to yet. I don't know, I just feel like it'll be a real fun game to just like take a night, play for a couple hours, knock out a bunch of missions, goof off, hang out. That's like, it doesn't need to be much. It's doing exactly what it needs to do. And it was on Game Pass. So it was like I didn't have to pay anything for it.
Right.
And I think that's where it succeeded
fair
the
enough.
most. Is like I wouldn't have bought this game, but because it's on Game Pass, I'm like, well, fuck yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
And now I'm glad that
Why
I
the heck
did.
not?
And I'm looking forward to playing more.
Yeah, I think from someone who's played like almost every single version of this looter shooter thing, this game gives more like freedom to the player than any other game. Like the point where I'm at, so I've started to get to the point where like Jeff was saying, like there's mods on your gear that modifies like your playstyle a little bit. I just got a assault rifle, a legendary assault rifle that like makes enemies bleed, and then also makes lightning shoot out of the sky on them. And it's like
That's dope.
silly and fun, but it's so satisfying just like shooting around and just watching random lightning strikes just like kill people. But what the game eventually, we're literally like 4 missions probably from this point of the game, Jeff. You get access to like the customizer guy, and anytime you get a mod on a weapon, it goes to this guy, and you can go in, and if like say you just got a new headpiece that has a mod for a skill you don't use at all, you can go to this guy and swap that mod out for a skill that you use. So it literally, there's no RNG in like hoping you get, I guess, unlocking it, but once you get that skill the one time, you have it for the rest of the game.
You can put it on any gun.
Yeah, it makes the game
That's cool.
so much more better feeling as a player, because I don't have to worry about, oh, I really need a skill for my lava wave, and all I keep getting are skills for my skill that makes people blow up, and I don't want to make people blow up. I want to hit them with a lava wave, and that's like what can be frustrating in Destiny, for example, is you kind of might have to grind for, or actually it used to be, they've kind of changed up the formula a little bit. You used to have to grind to get that gear with the right perks that you wanted, and now in this game it says no, you've already gotten that perk before. Have it back. You can put it on whatever you want, and that's like, because this game is a one-time experience, so to speak. You know, there's no online persistent world to worry about. They can make decisions like that, and it makes the game feel so much better.
Yeah, it's super satisfying
very
in
nice.
that way. And like, yeah, not knowing I won't have to fucking grind to feel competent. And that's like one of the main reasons I'm afraid to get into Destiny. The amount of time I'd have to put in to get to a point where I'd feel comfortable playing with you who have been playing the whole time. It's a lot of time, whereas I feel like I could come into Outriders and like hop right in and have no issues. The whole world tier system is really cool. It's basically difficulty level, and the higher it is, the more rewards you get, and you can change that at will, and you can scale it if like you guys are having trouble, you can lower it, or if you're playing by yourself and want better rewards, you can raise it, and then like, oh wait, I made it a little too high, lower it. It's like,
but drop it down. You're still gonna get more good stuff to make you bet. Like,
I'm looking forward to playing it more with you for sure.
Yeah. I hope we can at least get through the campaign and at least start some of the expeditions, because I've heard that's where the game is really its best.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of tiers of difficulty with the expeditions. I don't know how many expeditions there are like total, but I've seen some like crazy. I've been like watching YouTube videos of people's builds, and it's funny how kind of the shooting aspect of the game kind of goes away in a sense. Like most of the builds by that point, you basically have unlimited ammo, because you probably have some kind of skill that replenishes your bullets as you're shooting them, and it's like your bullet, like shooting it's not like the main point of the game. It's just to like, I shoot because I want to, it's going to put some status, it's like hitting someone with a sword in a normal ARPG. Like, it's just your attack. It doesn't matter how many bullets you have. You just keep doing it.
Sweet.
I'm excited to keep playing it. I feel like I haven't been this like excited to play a game in a while, and it's like a nice feeling.
Yeah, it's definitely super fun. You and I are both playing on our Series X's. T-Gun's playing on his Xbox One.
Yeah.
Game Pass. None of us had to pay for it, so it's fun. And now that I'm done with Bravely Default 2, I can hard focus KOTOR. So I will have that done by the end of this month for us to talk about. And I did get Persona 5 Strikers in the mail. It arrived. I'm waiting. Allison wants to be there when I start it, because she's now also a big Persona fan by proxy.
You'll have to encourage me to play it too, because I haven't in a few weeks.
I was going to say, it seems like you've really fallen off of it. So I'm sure getting into it, I'll start talking to you.
It's just I just never want to boot up my PlayStation.
So yeah, that's it for me. I downloaded Oddworld Soulstorm because that was free.
Oh yeah, I plan to do that as well.
Yeah, I'll play it. I'll probably play it at least once or twice before next week, so I'll talk about it next week. But that's it for me. What about you, Derek? Besides Outriders?
Just been playing Bravely Default.
Nice.
I've gotten I'm getting like more into it. So
what's the most recent job you got?
I just got the Beastmaster.
Oh, okay. So you met Ani Hall?
Yeah. So I'm still like I'm like chapter 1.
No, that's chapter 2.
I'm chapter 2.
I was gonna say you're in
Savalon.
Savalon, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just about to go to Bernard's mansion. I'm like just outside his mansion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just so you know, the thief has a move at level 11 called Godspeed Strike. It's probably one of the most broken moves in the game. There are a lot of workarounds to get around its MP cost. I'm just throwing that out there. It can break the game and do insane amounts of damage.
Nice.
So yeah. All right. Is that it?
I actually forgot. I
Yeah,
beat It Takes Two.
Oh, you did.
You did beat it?
I didn't play any more of it. At the time.
So when we had talked about it last week, I had stopped. We stopped our session before essentially viewing a cutscene, and that cutscene was like the last thing.
Oh, really?
So we beat it like last Friday.
So what do you think?
The I still have the same thoughts on it. It's like it's a really really fun co-op game. There's a lot of really cool gameplay stuff, and I really like the almost like buffet aspect of it, where you're constantly hopping between various different aesthetics and gameplay styles. But I hate the story.
Yeah, didn't end in a place that made you feel better about it.
No,
All right,
no, not at all.
that's fair.
Made me feel worse.
Jesus.
Whoops.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's everything. Then let's take a break right now, and then when we come back, we can talk about the Game Shark's top 10 games of the 1980s. We will be back. All right, we have returned. Nia is still sitting on that pizza box, and we are going to be discussing the top games of the 80s. So this is an aggregate list of myself, Andrew, Derek, Ticon, and Jose. As we said earlier, Adam chose to abstain from giving us a list because he said he didn't play enough games from the 80s. You know, happens. All right. So we're going to do each decade over the next month. We had already done the teens back around when we started the podcast because it was the
Episode
end of it.
6.
Yeah. But as Andrew had
yeah.
said, he's like, my list would be nearly entirely different at this point, and I've played enough games over the
I don't know
last
about entirely different, but it would be different.
It'd
There would
be a bit different.
significant changes.
I think mine would also have significant changes, and now we have Ticon and Jose to have some influence on it as well. So we're going to redo that when we get there. But like I said, we're going to start at the 80s, and we'll start at the bottom of the list and go up. So the number 10 game of the 1980s, according to the Game Sharks podcast, we have Duck Hunt. Duck Hunt got 11 out of 50 points. The maximum points a game could have gotten is 50. Duck Hunt had 11. All right, so let's talk about Duck Hunt. How do we feel?
Duck fun.
Duck Hunt was my personal number 10, so it ended up in that same exact spot. Andrew had it at his number 9. Derek, it was not on your list.
Yeah. Duck Hunt was not one I considered to be in my top 10.
Ticon had it as his number 3. And
wow.
Jose did not have it on his list. So, yeah, Duck Hunt, light gun game for the NES. You shoot ducks, and then the dog laughs at you when you miss. Has a character in Smash Bros.
Yeah, I guess I want to preface probably the entire list by saying a lot of these are mostly nostalgia based because maybe half of my list I haven't played these games in over 10 years.
Yes. Also, disclaimer: we were all born after the 80s, so
yeah, correct.
These are all games we went back and played retrospectively at some point in our lives.
Yeah, I grew up playing some of these games, and one of them was the Super Mario Bros. Duck Hunt cartridge for the NES. And I remember, having that, not only having that choice there, but also the novelty of using the light gun was really fun. I remember. And it's just a really neat implementation of a gimmick, especially in the 80s, given its earliness.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun memories playing Duck Hunt as a kid. The light gun, like, it was magic as a kid. Like, how is this working? How does this know where I'm pointing? And then you get older and you learn how it works with infrared and the reflection of the CRT, and how you can't use it on modern TVs.
Did you ever see the like one that's like a projection? It like projects the Duck Hunt. I want to say that's a thing, and because that's the version I played.
Is it like a standalone thing? It wasn't an NES game?
I want to say it also. Well, I think it was a standalone, but I think it still had Mario Brothers with it.
What?
I've got to. This could just be a weird like dream I had.
It sounds weird. Adam, do you have anything to say about Duck Hunt?
I think kind of with Andrew on that, it's definitely a nostalgia pick. Like, it's just you you think like classic Nintendo, and that's up there.
Hmm.
So I think it's a good spot, and it's in a
yeah.
good spot to be.
It's like a super old. Like it was like the first version of Duck Hunt.
Interesting.
It's not the same game.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
So it's
Yeah.
more of a proof of concept.
Yeah, but it was made by Nintendo.
Okay.
Interesting.
Cool. All right, yeah. Duck Hunt is a pretty standard game. It was the pack-in. Everyone had the Duck Hunt Super Mario Bros. Cartridge,
Right,
so
yeah.
almost everyone has played Duck Hunt in some fashion in their lives. Yeah, very popular game. All right, let's talk about our number 9. Coming in with 13 points, our number 9 is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Let's go.
Respect.
Yeah, let's see. What did we have here? We had...
Get back.
Oh, Neil left the pizza box.
Streak
Now
broken.
she's just
Ninja Turtles was my number 8. It was Andrew's number 7. It was... Sorry, I have to scroll. It was T-Con's number 5. And not on Jose or Derek's list.
Yeah, I never played the original for the NES.
Oh, it's so fun.
Yeah, it was one of it's. I think if I were to obtain a working NES, it would be the first game that I play on it. I just have so many fond memories of like trying to get through the first couple levels and not being able to, and so I want to see if going back to it I would be able to get past it, because I just remember it being like a really fun side-scrolling beat 'em up. Right, it was like a beat 'em up.
Yeah, so it had two aspects to it. It had like a Scott Pilgrim beat 'em up style, and it also had some like 2D like actual side-scrolling Mario levels to it.
Oh yeah, I kind of remember. See, that's the hard part about it too, is I barely remember it because I haven't played it since I was, like 6 years old.
Yeah. Yeah. This game, I remember us playing it when we were kids, Andrew, in the trailer,
camper?
in
Yeah.
the backyard. Yeah, definitely a super fun classic game for me. I always loved playing as Michelangelo. Also, was a Donnie fan. I like all the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Adam, Derek, you said you haven't played it. Adam, did you ever play this with us when we were kids?
I'm pretty sure I must have played it at some point. I do remember playing it once or twice. I can't quite remember when. But yeah, nothing more to say about it besides it's fun. It's a fun game.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe going back to it, it might not end up being as fun.
As
but
good.
That's the fun part of it.
Nostalgia.
Right.
Okay. Number 8. Coming in with 14 points. We have Galaga.
Oh.
Ooh.
Galaga was T-Con's number 4, and it was Jose's number 4.
Wow. Damn.
Giving it 14 points.
Before we continue with that, the NES TMNT has an average of a 4 out of 10 on OpenCritic.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
There's one person who gave it a 3.4 out of 5,
there you go.
which is pretty good.
And that's, as you were saying, I'm sure nostalgia plays a big factor in a lot of the placement
Right.
of these games.
Yeah.
There's
enough.
only
I mean,
so many
'cause
games we could
The
have
80s,
played.
yeah. I mean, like, I was going through every year of these games trying to figure out which ones I actually have played. And the first 2 or 3, maybe 4 years, it's like before the NES came out, there was nothing, right? So it's like this is essentially the beginning of video games. So there's a lot of just bare bones stuff here,
Yeah. So yeah, Galaga is our number 8. The two people who had it in their number 4 slot are not on this episode. So
Galaga?
you played Galaga?
I played Galaga. It just
Yeah.
wasn't on my list.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Galaga. I feel like Galaga, it's
the original, like,
Arcade
scrolling shooter.
Did it come
Yeah.
before or after Space Invaders? Because they're basically the same thing, right?
After Space, no, Galaga is very different than Space Invaders.
Are you sure? Isn't it like the things coming down in waves, and you're just
Galaga's
the ship
like-
that goes back and forth?
Is like a, what are they called?
Breakout.
No, like the shooters where you control the ship and then there's enemies all over the screen.
Oh,
Twin-
so
Arcade stick.
No, oh
It's
man.
twin stick?
It's what like you consider Cuphead to kind of be.
Bullet hell?
Bullet hell. It's like the first
Oh.
bullet hell.
Okay, but they don't come down in waves. Like boop, boop.
They do, but like Space Invaders, you're like moving a guy on the ground, and like you point to a specific.
Oh, that's right.
point.
The Galaga ship can go like up and move around, right?
The Galaga ship can move around.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
The
So Space Invaders.
Space Invaders
what
is
we're
just
breaking.
on
They're
a
very-
plane.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're very close in concept.
Yeah. All right.
And honestly, I was thinking about Space Invaders to begin with too, because they
Yeah.
are that close.
I feel like a lot. If you like, you didn't grow up in the '80s playing arcade games, you get these confused pretty easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is probably going to be the roughest of our 4 episodes
Probably.
I would say so for sure. I
in a
feel like
lot of ways.
we're gonna be the
We
least
didn't exist.
passionate about these games. It's hard for us to defend or attack them, But
It's less of a sampling size or a pool to draw from.
yeah, that
Yeah.
too. All right. Seeing as none of us are the people who put Galaga on our list, I suppose we'll move on here.
Yeah.
All right. Coming in at number 7, Super Mario Bros. With 15 points.
Okay. Yep. I knew that was going to be on this list somewhere.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised with how low it was, but let's see. Also, I had Space Invaders on my list and not Galaga. Just
Close enough.
yeah. T-Con had Super Mario Bros. As his number 1, and Jose had it as his number 5. And then
Okay.
none of us had it.
So again, nobody here had it on the
Nobody
list.
here, but I feel like we could talk about Super
It
Mario
definitely
Bros.
it
We
definitely
can
deserves to
talk
be
about
up
Super
there.
Mario Bros. Yeah, I've played it and I've started it on so many times, right? Like I have the 3DS version or I have it a virtual console,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's like it's the grandfather of video games. It is the video game, right?
Yeah, it is the
Yeah, it's like
it's the game that brought video games back from like extinction, because there was the
yeah,
video
we
game
just
crash.
celebrated the 35th
Yeah.
anniversary of this particular game. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
like
It's a really
everything
solid
that's come
platformer.
from
Mhm.
it is just it started a franchise.
Yeah, I mean it propelled Nintendo to being like the number 1 video game company, probably still to this day, or like the most well known. There are still people out there who refer to all video games. Oh, you're playing a Nintendo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I'm not, but sure, if that's your entry point, if that's what you understand, and like Super Mario Bros. Is the start of it all.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if like 95% of the people, at least in the United States, if not the Earth, could tell you what Super Mario Bros. Is. And maybe like half of all human beings over the age of, I don't know, 12 have played Super Mario Bros. That might be a
Yeah.
little ambitious.
Fun fact: Super Mario Bros. Is the number 1 game on G4's top 100 games of all time.
Well, there you go.
That
Wow,
they aired
okay.
like 15 years ago or whatever, whenever.
A lot of games have come out since then.
Yeah.
So yeah, Super Mario
At
Bros.
least 100.
They're like arguably maybe the most influential video game of all time.
Arguably.
It's like definitely a top 3 contender for like most impactful, most important video games of all time.
I
All
would
right.
say that Super Mario Brothers is the single most important video game of all time. Considering without it, there wouldn't be other important video games.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's see. Number 6, Pac-Man.
Okay.
With 19 points. Derek had Pac-Man as his number 4 game. 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
4. No, it was your number 5 game. 1,
5
2,
game.
3. Yeah, that was your number 5. Let's see. Andrew had Pac-Man as his number 6.
Yeah, but for the record, Pac-Man would have been relatively high up on mine if I had
And
had
Jose
10 games to put on a list.
Pac-Man as his number 3. All right, Andrew, Derek, you both had Pac-Man. Pretty middle to high on your list. What was your reasoning? I'm gonna unplug this light.
I feel like Pac-Man's like a pretty classic, like old game. It's I don't know. I played it like a ton as a kid, because like this restaurant my family used to go to had a old Pac-Man arcade table. So like whenever we would go there, my sister and I would like go play Pac-Man on the table, and it was definitely my first exposure ever to that like old classic arcade style where like you played and there were like more levels in the first level, but you had to keep winning. And I want to say I got to like the third map or whatever they call them in back
Screen?
then. But
I think they call them
screen,
screens.
yeah, the screen or whatever. But I don't know. It's simple,
Yeah.
but yet slightly challenging.
It's just pure fun.
Yeah, I don't.
It's a classic example of an arcade game that just holds up. Like
Yeah.
you could play Pac-Man today and have just as much fun as you could have in the 80s, right? And it's like the fact that 40 years later it holds up so well
Right.
is insane.
The fact that they're making a Pac-Man 99
Yeah,
tells
that
me
too,
that like
right?
this game, the gameplay is so simple and like that you can turn it into this battle royale fuckfest, whatever it is. Like it's very cool.
Battle Royale Fuckfest is a good band name.
I think arcade games are just a prime example of things that never get old, right? I mean, with exceptions, but
I mean,
Pac-Man is
by
one of the
design, arcade games are meant for you to like put
Play
in a
them
quarter
forever.
and play another one. You know,
Yeah.
Right.
they're always
just keep
round
going.
based. Like, oh, I could do that better. I can get a higher score.
And like the 80s to early 90s was like the golden age of arcade games.
Yeah, for sure. What was the thing I just said? Battle Royale Fuckfest.
Battle Royale
Yeah.
Fuckfest.
Battle Royale.
You heard it here first, folks.
Fuck Fest. I have a pretty incredible list of amazing band names going.
Nice.
I'll read them to you tomorrow, Derek. They're pretty great. I want to say I was very surprised you guys, none of you put Miss Pac-Man. Everyone just put traditional Pac-Man. And I'm
See-
pretty sure like it's widely regarded that Ms. Pac-Man is the superior game.
I considered it, but I've never played Miss Pac-Man, and I'm uninformed on this particular instance. So I felt like if I had any knowledge whatsoever, I would have put Miss Pac-Man on it ahead of that.
Gotcha.
But just because I know so little, I figured I would just give it to the one I know.
All right. Cool. No one wants to say anything else about Pac-Man?
No, I mean most of like Pac-Man's kind of self-explainable. I think.
Yeah.
Self-explanatory.
All right. Moving on to number 5 then. Our number 5 game of the 80s, according to the Game Sharks, is Metroid.
Yeah, of course,
Nice.
there it is.
Metroid got 21 points. It was my number 5. It was Derek's number 3. Not on Andrew's list. T-Con's number 6. And Jose's number 8. So the rest of these you're going to start seeing on a lot of people's lists.
It makes sense. The higher they go, the more they had to show up.
Mm-hmm. So, talk about Metroid. I think the
Yeah,
most
it's
important
Metroid.
thing is its name is used in one of the most popular genres of today.
Yeah, like how can
Like-
you not put it on the list? Because it's literally one of the two games that started that type of game.
Yeah, and like the open world or like exploration progression based on unlocking new items and re-exploring the existing location that you've been in is like such an incredible format that has been refined and perfected like all the way up till today. And like we talk about games like Hollow Knight and Ori and the Will of the Wisps as some of our favorite games ever, and they all stemmed from Metroid.
Yeah, this one game in the 80s that did something so cool and at the time unique that holy crap, we got to do more of this. Like honestly, it 100% deserves to be on that list.
Yeah, my first exposure to, and I wanted to put it on this list, but I realized it's a year too late. Was my first exposure to Metroid was Metroid 2.
Oh, is that a 90s game?
Yeah,
Yep.
91. So
I would have put Metroid 2 on my top 10 if it was an 80s game.
there are a couple games on my list that my exposure to them was from when I got my first Game Boy, and they like most of them were all either launch titles for the Game Boy or whatever. But eventually, when I got you play these games as a kid and then you learn about them and you learn, oh, there was one before that I think I had the like Game Boy Advanced re-release of Metroid 1.
Metroid Zero Mission.
No, didn't
Oh,
they
it's
come
just-
out? Did they come out with a NES Classic? I'm trying to remember when the
I
first time
think
I
so.
played the first, and it was either on Game Boy Advanced or it was
Metroid Classic NES series for the Game Boy Advanced.
yeah. And like it was like reliving my younger childhood as even still when I was a child, because I was like, oh my god, I remember playing this series when I was a kid. And yeah, it's just I don't think I've ever fully beaten the original Metroid, but I've definitely played it a couple times in like the Switch Online NES library, just trying to like see if I can do it.
I've never played the original Metroid.
No.
I haven't gotten around to it either.
I don't know if it's something I haven't gotten around to, because I definitely don't plan on it.
Well, no, that's the thing. Like, it just never, but I like never got around to it. I mean, like, it never popped up on my radar of, oh, I have an opportunity to play it, so let's play it.
Yeah. Is it on NES Classic?
Yeah.
Don't-
NES Online? Oh, well,
Maybe.
in that case, maybe.
Okay. Yeah,
it's
we could.
it's real quick. It's not a super long game. And save states go a long way for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's defined an entire genre of games.
Or at least a half of a genre.
Yeah.
Spoiler: Castlevania is not on this list, and I'm a little sad at all of you. But
Well,
I've never played the original
original
Castlevania.
Yeah.
The original
I haven't played it.
Castlevanias aren't what spawned the Vania side of that genre,
it's
right?
true,
And that-
but it's
that
a
was Symphony of the
top-notch
Night.
side scroller.
Yeah.
All right, our number 4, also getting 21 points, but beating out Metroid because it was placed higher on more lists. We have Mega Man 2.
At 4, Criminals.
That's what I'm saying. Andrew and I both had Mega Man 2 as our number 2 games.
It was very close to being my number 1 game.
It was also very close to being my number 1 game. Jose had it as his 8th game. Not on Ticon's list, not on Derek's list. Derek, defend yourself. Why isn't Mega Man 2 on your list?
I've never played Mega Man.
Any of them?
Any of them.
You son of a
All right.
bitch.
One of these days, we have to get together and like force each other to play all of these classic games.
I could sit down and play Mega Man 1 and 2 in a single sitting. I've got those
Yeah.
games down pretty pat. Yeah, Mega Man 2 is incredible.
It's one of the best soundtracks ever.
Yeah, I've never played Mega Man.
Yeah, it's really fun. Yeah, the whole premise of you start the game, there's just a screen with all these bosses. You can go to any one of the levels and fight them, and then it's like a puzzle of figuring out what boss's weapon is strong against other bosses. And
Yeah.
all of the levels are super well designed. A lot of, like Andrew said, very classic, well designed soundtracks in each of the levels.
Yeah, the boss powers themselves are all really unique and like well utilized.
You fight
You
an
know?
alien at the end.
Yeah.
It comes out of nowhere. You spent all this time like fighting these robots, and then at the very end, the final boss is an alien who's weak against bubbles. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Mega Man 2 is incredible.
Yeah.
And you need to play it for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, number 3. With 34 points. So Mega Man 2 was 21 points. This next one
Wow,
is
this is a huge.
this next
So
one
I'm
is
guessing
the
there's a
next,
lot of
next 3
overlap
are
in the-
pretty unanimous.
yeah. This one 34 points. Number 3, The Legend of Zelda.
Naturally.
Legend of Zelda was my number 3. It was Derek's number 2. It was Andrew's number 3. It was Ticon. It was not on Ticon's list,
Huh.
and it was
Ticon.
Jose's number 2. So yeah, The Legend of Zelda.
Like,
Yeah.
Doesn't even not even a lot has to be said there. I mean, it's the Legend
Yeah,
of Zelda.
it's Zelda. Like
Yeah.
Another game from the 80s that spawned into a now going 35
is-
years strong.
this is the birth of the action adventure genre in a way. You know,
Yeah.
it's a different. I think there's games nowadays that lean towards pure adventure games, and I think Zelda is one of those. I think the term action adventure much more focuses on the action. But you know, it's all about the exploration. This is like the epitome of like just finding secrets everywhere, you know, and the just amount of creativity in that world is was pretty breathtaking for its time. You know, the first game to implement save states or save files.
Mm-hmm.
It's just such a good time. I to this day have never beaten the original Zelda. I've gotten pretty close.
Yeah, I
But
think I've gotten
did plan to do it at
5,
some point.
4 or 5 dungeons I've beaten. I've never beaten it.
Yeah,
I think I did.
I've done 1.
7.
You fought that like dragon thing?
Yeah, that's about all I've gotten.
Yeah, and it's cool to see even today, like Breath of the Wild, its #1 inspiration was the original Legend of Zelda. They went back to that idea of like, what if we just throw people in this world and they can go anywhere and look at anything and interact with any part of it, and like you might go somewhere that's not so great for you in your current state. It like the fact that Breath of the Wild is the reimagining of the original The Legend of Zelda is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
And it just shows, it's a testament to like how well designed the original Legend of Zelda is, that they can like refresh it in such a way in 2017 and it's considered one of the greatest games of all time now.
Yeah.
Legend of Zelda.
There's so many memes too that have sprung from it. Even like before they were memes, they were probably just things that people said, is like, it's dangerous to go alone. Take this, and
I still say that.
it's
And
a secret
Allison's
to
like,
everybody.
what are you talking about?
Yeah, Jeff handed me some beef jerky the other day. He was like, "It's dangerous to go alone. Take this."
Yeah.
I did. Also, I'm making beef jerky for the tournament this weekend. It's
Nice.
marinating right now. Always beef jerky.
Always beef jerky.
No.
All right. Our #2 game.
Please no.
This one actually also had 34 points, but again, it was higher on more people's lists, so it ranked higher on the aggregate list. Tetris.
Wow.
Yeah, I
That was gonna
expected
be number
Tetris to
1.
be on there.
So yeah, Tetris was my #1.
If Matt Ferrara was on this podcast, it would have been
100%.
number 1.
Tetris was my #1. It was Derek's #4. It was Andrew's #4. It was fucking T-Con, not on T-Con's list.
T-Con, priorities.
And it was Jose's #1. So because
I want to
we're-
see.
I want to see T-Con's whole list.
I'm gonna read through it. Don't worry.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Uh,
I don't even care about number 1 anymore. Show me T-Con's list.
Because it was mine and Jose's #1. It overtook
Nice.
the Zelda, who was no one's #1.
Yeah.
So yeah, Tetris, man.
Tetris is fucking insanely great.
I was playing Tetris right before this podcast started. Like, Tetris Effect last year like blew my mind. Tetris 99 is one of like the most fun multiplayer experiences I've had in years. It's just like, it's fucking amazing that they take the most simple puzzle game. You have these like combination of blocks that are all made up of 4 blocks, and all of it's just making them fit. And like people have created metaphors for life based on Tetris. You know, the whole idea of like, you can't choose what blocks you're given, but you can only choose where they're like placed and how you make them fit in your life and shit like that. Like, Tetris is a way of life. It like, I don't know.
And even as a video game, it has such a high skill ceiling too.
Yeah.
Which is pretty nuts. You know, Jeff, I believe you showed Matt, and then by extension showed me that clip of like the most recent Tetris World Championships,
Mhm.
and it's like there's still people,
and they play on the NES version still. They're playing this version of the game competitively. Still, is that like the oldest esport? Probably.
Yeah, it's like Pac-Man. It's just another arcade game that just holds up. Or was it ever an arcade game, or did it release only on Game Boy? And
No, I
NES?
think
it was
came out
NES
with NES
first, and then it was on the Game Boy later.
Yeah, well, it's still. I mean, arcade kind of fits the vibe of this whole thing.
Yeah,
but.
I love Tetris. I still play Tetris to this day. Like I was saying, I was playing right before we started the podcast. It's like the eternal perfect puzzle game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I taught my my 5-year-old niece how to play Tetris. Well, was she 5? She just turned 5. She would have been 4 when I was teaching her. Like I was teaching her how to play Tetris, and she's just like, I was watching a 4-year-old fall in love with Tetris, and it just like made me so happy in my heart.
There's something so satisfying about getting those little tetraminos.
Tetraminos. You say the darndest things.
NVIDIA.
No video. So yeah,
I like how Derek tried to make an example of the stupid things he says, but he actually said the
He
correct.
said it
right.
why was it number 4 for both of you? I'm just curious.
I love Tetris. Don't get me wrong; it's definitely one of the greatest video games ever made. But so are the top 3 on my list.
Yeah.
I
That
just
is true.
couldn't. I couldn't in any world put it above the love I have for those 3 games.
Yeah, I think the same thing. Like I had a tough time ordering my kind of top 4, top 3. Like I knew my number 1, but the following after, I think any of those games could have kind of fallen in that top, those 3 places.
Mm. Well, no matter how high up you moved Tetris, you said both of your number ones were locks, and both of your number ones is our number 1, jumping up to 42 points out of 50 and being 8 higher than Tetris and The Legend of Zelda. Super Mario Bros. 3.
Yeah, there was
Okay.
there was
Yeah.
never a world where I don't have Mario Bros. 3 as
Yeah.
number 1.
It's
in contention for the greatest video game of all time.
It's my number 4, Derek's number 1, Andrew's number 1, Ticon's number 2, and Jose's number 5.
So it's on everybody's list.
When you brought up like top games of the 80s, this was just the first game that popped in my mind.
Yeah, which I was surprised to see it was 89 in Japan. And I'm like, I was surprised that you all knew that because it was on.
I googled it to make sure.
Yeah, because I saw you sent me your list before I had made mine. I was like, oh shit, I could have swore that was a 90s game, and sure enough, it was released in the States in the 90s, but it was released in Japan in the 80s.
Well, the way I made my list is I went to Wikipedia and I said video games released in 1980, and then I looked at all of the games, wrote down the ones that I was considering, and then went year by year. So I didn't even question it. It was just, as soon as I saw it, I was like, "Yep, on the list."
It's on there.
Yeah, I was wrestling between this and Mega Man 2 for a little bit, but I just can't not put it at number 1. It's just amazing. It takes, like we were saying about Mario Bros. 1 and how good of a platformer it is, how much of an influence it was. Mario Bros. 3 is just an infinitely better version of that.
Yeah.
Which I was talking to you about this earlier today, Jeff, is in that the reason I don't have Mario Bros. 1 and Mega Man 1 on my list, which they otherwise would be, is because the Mega Man 2 and Mario Bros. 3 are just the same games essentially, but better. And I feel weird about putting iterative sequels like that on the same list together.
Yeah.
Like, but if we're being objective, like purely objective about it, Mario Bros. Is probably on this list.
Yeah, I mean,
at least on my personal list.
Ticon's number 1 was Super Mario Bros. And his number 2 was Super Mario Bros. 3.
Yeah, so like
he was the only one that did that.
I almost put them both on, but
yeah, and if we're being honest, if we're making lists like these are all just based on personal opinions. So some of us might put sequels on the same list, some won't.
Yeah,
it's just like a thing I wrestle with all the time when I'm making lists like this. But
I'm the same way.
It's not to say that Mario Bros. 3 still isn't fucking incredible. That game, similarly to the first one, I've started that game 20, 30 times. I think only one time I got past like the second world.
Having beat Super Mario Bros. 3 last year, I think, right? I think it was like during the beginning of the pandemic when
I remember you were playing it with Kayla.
Yeah, we played through the whole thing.
Because it's kind of a co-op game. It's like a pass and play thing where you die as Mario and then your co-op partner plays as Luigi.
Yeah, we just basically it was like she would play until she decided she couldn't beat the level, and then I would play, and then maybe we'd beat the level, maybe we didn't. But yeah, I had never played it before, and had only like my exposure to Mario was I had played a little bit of Super Mario. I had Super Mario Land, which was on my list for the Game Boy, and I had played Super Mario Brothers 2 Advanced.
The Lost Levels or Doki Doki Panic?
No, yeah, the Doki Doki Panic one, but the one that came out for Game Boy Advance. So that was like my exposure to the 2D platformer Mario. So playing this for the first time, I was like, holy shit, like this is the base for like basically every Mario platformer, 2D platformer that came out since then. And like if you look back on it, like how much has really changed besides like maybe adding a power up or two? Like the game is still the same.
Yeah, the overall structure really has not deviated that much.
Yeah, like the complexity of the levels, like you can't say like there are hard levels in the new Mario, like 2D platformer, the 2D land, stuff like that, or 3D land, not 3D land, new Super Mario Brothers. That's what it's called. But like some of the levels in Super Mario Brothers 3 are like hard, but they're still beatable. They're still like when you get that that precision timing down, which you should have by the time you're at like Bowser's Castle in the last world. It's like super satisfying to finish. So yeah, I really enjoyed being able to play that game for like the first time and also beating it.
Yeah, and maybe even more so than the first one. And there's a lot in this game that's just iconic.
Yeah,
like the raccoon suit, a
Warp
lot
whistle?
of the music,
frog suit.
Yeah, the warp whistle, the frog suit too. All of the Koopalings.
Yeah, the Koopalings.
There's a lot.
It's
Andrew,
great.
I want you to write this down. I want all of us to, at some point, there's no time frame for this. I want us all to play Super Mario Bros. 3 start to finish and Super Mario Bros. World start to finish. And we're going to do an episode.
Super Mario World? Like the,
Yeah.
the Super Nintendo one?
Yeah, and we're going to have a
I've
debate.
never played it.
We're going to have a debate.
On which is better?
What is better, Super Mario Bros. 3 and Super Mario World? I hear a lot of people talk about this. I've never played either of them to completion. I've played a little bit more of World than I have of 3, which isn't a ton. But I want to play through both of them in their entirety, and so we can have that discussion and figure it out for ourselves.
Would you ever put Yoshi Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, in that conversation?
I've never heard people talk about it in that conversation.
Because I would say it's the best 2D Mario game.
I think
Okay, but it's a Yoshi game.
Consider it a 2D Mario game.
I think
It's a Yoshi game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're an outlier on that one. I don't think most people are with you on that.
No, I think people agree that it's one of the best like 2D platformers, but they don't consider it a Mario game. They say it's its own thing.
It's a Yoshi game.
Yeah, it's a Yoshi game.
Well, I'll have to try that one too. But for the means of that conversation, we'll have to do that. Maybe I'll do like a level a day for a little bit. All right. That's our whole list. Let me quickly run down what everyone's lists were. So, here we go. Jose's list. He had Tetris, number 1. Legend of Zelda 2. Pac-Man. Galaga. Super Mario Bros. 3. Super Mario Bros. Donkey Kong, which didn't show up at all. Mega Man 2, Metroid, and Contra. I think he had most on his list, the most that were actually in the top 10. He just had Contra and Donkey Kong. That
Jose
didn't make
is
it
the
into-
best of us.
Jose is the best. T-Con's list. Super Mario Bros. Number 1. Super Mario Bros. 3. Duck Hunt. Galaga. TMNT. Metroid. Pretty normal up until that point. He's got Excite Bike. Rally X. Ninja Gaiden. And Spy Hunter.
All right. I've never heard of Spy Hunter, but other than that, that's solid.
You've never heard of Spy Hunter?
Yeah, I don't know.
The 2001 movie with Vin Diesel?
I believe we're talking about the 1980s, Derek. So we haven't gotten there yet. Talk to me in 2 episodes.
All right. Andrew's list. Super Mario Bros. 3 is his number 1. Mega Man 2. The Legend of Zelda. Tetris. Minesweeper, which mad respect. I didn't even consider that.
You're damn right Minesweeper is a fucking top 10 80s game. Minesweeper's so good.
Might have been on my list if I had thought to add it.
That's what I'm saying, man. That you got to do the process. It takes a little bit, maybe like a half hour to an hour max, but like you just go through each year, be like, have I played this? Yes.
See, I thought I was thorough, but apparently I wasn't thorough enough because it just didn't pop up in any of the lists I looked at. Pac-Man was your number 6. TMNT, another Excite Bike, Duck Hunt, and then Rogue.
Yeah.
Which I think.
So, never actually played Rogue, but I figured there was a lot of. That was the one where I was like, if I had played this, it would be on this list. It is like many others, the birthplace of the roguelike genre. Because other games are like Rogue.
Then we have Derek's list, Super Mario Bros. 3 at the top, Legend of Zelda, Metroid, Tetris, Pac-Man, 1942, SimCity, Alleyway, Super Mario Land, and SinStar. I think Derek's is the one that varies the most from what the actual list is. After you get to his number 6 and down, we don't see any of those on the list. Anything on your list you wanted to talk about briefly, Derek?
I just want to throw out Sinistar. A lot of people don't know about Sinistar.
You
But-
wrote Sinstar.
Did I write Sinistar? It's Sinistar.
Okay.
It's the greatest pun of all time.
Hmm.
You are a spaceship flying around I think it's the first open world game, actually. The empty space, and while you destroy things, the enemy, the Sinistar, slowly gets built, and then at the end, he starts chasing you around, and it's like, I played the actual arcade version of this game, and it's while also great, it's very comical to hear like the garbled voice acting of this person saying like, "I am Sinistar," chasing you around.
I've heard that line before for sure.
Tiny screen. Oh, it's pretty great, but I think it's very well. It was well known in the arcade community for its difficulty. It was a very difficult game. I've gotten close to like beating it, but I've never quite beat the Sinistar. But if you go to that arcade bar in Providence, they have it.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
they do? Free play?
Yeah,
I want to go
yeah,
back
free
there
play. Yeah,
post-pandemic.
So I just Googled Sinistar with 2 N's, which is a mistake because all of those links were porn.
Nah.
Why did you Google it, Jeff? Why?
Are we gonna
you
get
couldn't
taken
have
off?
taken
of
my
YouTube
word for
I
it?
have to. Sorry, I didn't
You're
say
gonna
any of
edit
those
this
words.
out.
Edit.
Wow.
What's the time code? 1:55. Edit.
Never mind, we're getting banned from Twitch.
Yeah.
You're gonna get ripped
I'm
out.
gonna start
Oh.
streaming on YouTube. man.
Sinistar arcade game.
It's spelled with 1 N. Thank you for.
Yeah.
Clarifying
Oh yeah,
that.
I recognize this door, whatever thing with the skull.
Yeah.
All right, and my list, I had Tetris at number 1, Mega Man 2, Legend of Zelda, Mario Bros. 3, Metroid, Castlevania, Space Invaders, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Missile Command, and Duck Hunt. I think Missile Command is like one of like the early like huge arcade games, and I was always a big fan of that. So yeah, that's it. That's all of our lists. Top games of the 80s, if you want to hear one more time, according to the Game Sharks. Number 1, Super Mario Bros. 3. Number 2, Tetris. Number 3, The Legend of Zelda. Number 4, Mega Man 2. Number 5, Metroid. Number 6, Pac-Man. Number 7, Super Mario Bros. Number 8, Galaga. Number 9, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And number 10, Duck Hunt. All right.
Oh.
What?
Sorry, so apparently there are a couple League of Legends skins that reference Sinistar.
Which ones?
Darkstar Thresh will say the classic line, "Beware, I live," and Final Boss Vigar will say, "I hunger," which are 2 quotes from Sinistar.
I didn't
That's
really.
fine.
I've heard both of those things. I have
Yeah.
both of those skins.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure.
It's kind of off topic, but I also know that if you leave Skarner in a bush for too long, he says his name like a Pokemon.
Yeah, he does a Pokemon. He's like Skarner. It's really great.
There's a lot of neat references in League of Legends.
There's a King Rammus skin that just makes him look like Bowser.
He is just
Yeah.
Bowser, yeah. And
It's a good skin.
last one, so we can actually finish this damn podcast, is that Super Galaxy Rumble is entirely ripped from Gurren Lagann, which is my favorite anime of all time.
All right, let's wrap this up with some 80s video game trivia.
There we go. I was waiting for it.
All right.
go.
So we have Andrew, we have Adam, and we have Derek. All right. You guys know the rules. Let's get into this. Anyone in Twitch chat, feel free to try to answer these questions as well.
Twitch chat, okay.
There's someone. Shout out
there?
to someone. All right.
Someone.
Question number 1. What is the top-selling game console of the 1980s? What is the number 1 selling video game console from the 1980s. Derek, we're going to have you go first.
I believe it was the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Adam?
Yeah, that was my guess too. The NES.
Andrew?
Quick question: are the NES and the Famicom different?
Nope.
Okay, NES.
It was the NES, Nintendo Entertainment System. I didn't say handheld because actually it would have been the Game Boy.
No.
But we went
That,
with
yeah, if it said handheld, I could have guessed Game Boy.
yeah, Game Boy. I think outsold the NES. All right, question number two.
In like the 2 years that it was in the 80s.
Speaking of the Game Boy, name one of the 5 launch games for the Game Boy. Yeah,
Ooh.
the Game Boy
One of
launched
them?
with 5 games. All you have to do is name me one. Bonus points if you can name all 5.
Oh, no, that's not happening.
Yeah, okay.
Derek.
What happens
hold on,
if you
give me-
name all of them, or like some of them, more than one? Anything? Or is it only 1 or 5?
It's 1 or 5.
Okay. I got
Uh,
nothing then.
All right.
I mean, I have something, just not all 5 of them.
We're going to have Adam go first.
Oh, thanks. Gonna guess a Fire Emblem of some sort. I don't know if I'm way too early on that.
Andrew.
Super Mario Land, the 6 golden coins, whatever it's called.
Derek.
I'll go with Tetris just to be safe because I
You-
couldn't think of the 5th.
Do you want to give it a shot for the 5th?
I can't think of the 5th game.
Well,
That's
give
my
me.
problem.
Okay, so Andrew and Derek get points.
Yeah, I know I was
Land,
way off base.
So-
yeah.
I have
What do you have?
Alleyway, Metroid,
Yep.
Super Mario Land, Tetris, and there's one more, and I can't remember what it was.
So Metroid was not one of them.
Metroid wasn't a launch? Okay.
Nope. So you had Alleyway correct. You had Tetris and Super Mario Land correct, and the other 2 were baseball and tennis.
Baseball and tennis.
Oh.
Ah,
You always forget the early video games were just what they were.
baseball
Yeah.
and tennis.
They were sports.
I was going through the list, and there was a lot of games that share names with modern games too, which is pretty funny.
Hmm.
I can't remember any examples.
All right, question number 3. Who is the woman that Jumpman is trying to save in the arcade game Donkey Kong?
I like that one.
Thank you. What is the name of the woman? Name a woman.
For $1. Any woman?
Adam, you look a little confused, so we're gonna have you go first on this one, buddy. What is the name of the
Pauline.
woman?
Are you
I-
confused by Name a
yeah.
Woman?
Well, yes, there's that.
What'd you say?
I'm gonna.
Pauline.
I have to. Find
Derek?
Is that her name?
I'm pretty sure it's Pauline, but I put Priscilla because I couldn't think of it before Adam said it.
Andrew?
It's Pauline.
It is, in fact, Pauline. Most notably famous for her guest appearance in Mario Tennis Aces.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Odyssey.
That's the joke. She's had a very major role in Super Mario Odyssey.
Oh, I didn't get that it was a joke. My B.
All right, Andrew has 3. Adam and Derek both have 2. Question number 4. I might have asked this before. Name the 4 ghosts from Pac-Man.
Oh,
1 point for each one you get.
What?
Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of points on the line here. Name the 4 ghosts from Pac-Man.
oh.
Derek, you're gonna go first here, bud.
I've got Blinky, Dot, Sparky, and Mac.
Okay. Adam,
I did have Blinky and Dot. I don't know the other 2.
you got a guess?
Let's go with Jeff and Andrew.
All right,
I'm
Andrew.
going for brownie
How
I
points.
don't know, Jeff. Are we named after Pac-Man ghosts?
Andrew, how many of the Pac-Man ghosts can you name?
All of them. Inky, Blinky, Pinky, and Clyde.
Yeah.
Clyde.
Ah,
That was
Clyde.
the non-rhyming one.
Mhm.
So Adam and Derek both get a point for Blinky,
Okay.
but Andrew gets 4 points.
I think Andrew's winning.
He's gonna break the record for the most points scored in a Game Sharks trivia. Question number 5: what was the first home console released in the 1980s? I can give you a hint if you want it.
So you've asked us the first video game home console of all time,
Yes, it is not that.
which It's different.
This is different. This is the first console to be released in the decade of the 80s.
Okay. In this question, are the Famicom and NES different things?
Yes.
Okay.
Not that it's gonna matter because Andrew has 7 points and Adam and
Yeah.
Derek have 3.
We cannot win.
Derek,
I put the Atari 7200.
Adam,
I was gonna guess Atari as well.
Andrew.
I said Famicom, even though I'm pretty sure that's wrong.
The answer is the Mattel Intellivision.
Oh,
It was the first game. It was
Television.
released in 1980. Congratulations on winning, Andrew. Tiebreaker for fun. How many pellets are on a Pac-Man board?
47.
Okay, Derek. 148.
Gonna split the difference. 72.
Wrong. 240.
Oh wow, is that many?
I was
lot
going to
of
say
dots.
256 originally. But...
A
Damn,
lot
does not-
of
I mean,
dots.
that kind of makes sense, right? It's like 8-bit.
Yeah.
Or is it 16-bit?
No,
No,
it was 8-bit.
No.
How many pixels can you fit on the screen?
Fair enough.
All right. That brings us to the end of this episode of the Game Sharks podcast. Be sure to check out the Inner Gamer podcast at theinnergamer.net. You can listen to the episode that Andrew and I were on talking about the best side quests in video games. Shout out to Austin and Brett for having us on there. We had a very good time. Go check them out and support them. You can find our website, thegamesharks.com, where there are links to the podcast. You can find all our reviews that we put up. I'm going to be starting to work on my Bravely Default 2 review now that I finished it. Sorry, I forgot what it was called. You can find our new YouTube channel on there. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers so that I can update the URL to be something other than youtube.com/UXV397, you know. So that's our goal. We'll see if we can get there. What else do we got? You can find our Instagram on the website. You can also just find it at Game Sharks Podcast. We stream live. Our episodes go up on Twitch. You can find our Twitch at Game Sharks Podcast. We go live usually a little bit before 6 o'clock Eastern time. Depending on how late Derek is that day, you may catch me playing Tetris or something else. Today he was like just about right on time, so we got right into the recording of the episode. But yeah, if you want to watch us live, check us out on Twitch, Game Sharks Podcast, and you can give us a follow there to see whenever we go live. But I do believe, gentlemen, with that, we are finished.